All right, Brent Porcio, TopVelocity.net. We're going to do a cool video on how you can use the Motus Sleeve to reduce the stress to your arms. If you have an arm pain, any arm issues, this is a great place to start. And of course, obviously, if you can learn and use an approach like 3x pitching, where you can rebuild your body to be more effective and efficient in generating power through your kinetic chain, that's really what we're doing here. And we're going to give you one of those key components, which is what really makes this work. So what is the Motus Sleeve? It's something you can get online that tracks your workload. It also can do an advanced mode where it just gives you arm stress, arm slide, arm speed, shoulder rotation. Your arm stress, as it says here, arm stress is a measure of the peak torque, newtons, placed on the UCL during the movement near the time of maximum shoulder rotation. A high torque measure is not a good sign. So obviously we're trying to reduce torque while we increase speed. Now, the arm speed's the other one. That's the arm speed is the peak rotational velocity of your forearm during your throwing, your throw measured as RPMs, reps per minute. This peak occurs slightly after ball release. That's going to be obviously the peak speed. It's the deceleration speed, which also is going to link to the stress. That's where the torques are going to come from. So there's a challenge here to try to increase ball speed, not just arm speed, and reduce stress. But sometimes you can increase arm speed and reduce stress. But that's what this is going to show us. So what our goal is, if this works for you to reduce your pain in arm, if you're close to injury, would be getting your stress to go down while you keep your speed. So the better way to looking at it is we're going to use a radar, and we're going to look at the velocity and try to normalize the velocity, not just the arm speed. We'll let the arm speed move around, but ultimately my goal is to get the ball speed to stay the same between two pitches and watch my stress go down. And the key to that is going to be separation. So there's a study that shows that pro pitchers put less torques on the arm based on their body weight than any other level of pitching, lower than youth pitchers, college pitchers, high school pitchers. The highest amount of stress was high school pitchers. Obviously, they were trying to throw harder than the little league guys, and they just didn't have good mechanics doing it. So the goal would be to be like the pro pitchers. How can we be like the pro pitchers in that study? Put less stress on our arm without affecting our ball speed, or ultimately getting our ball speed to go up. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to try to play with that. All right, so I'm going to throw a few pitches, get a good average reading. It doesn't matter what my speed is. I'm going to be throwing just nice and easy, but we want to normalize that and show how we can reduce stress at that same speed. So here we go. Let's see where we're at. What is it? 50. So that's 50. 54. 54. I might settle somewhere around 55 to 60. Let's see. 56. 56. Okay. Let the Motus Sleeve catch up. All right, so I'm going to do my first demonstration. Obviously, the first demonstration, I want to do a throw that doesn't have any hip to shoulder separation. What's hip to shoulder separation? That would be my hips being open, my shoulders closed. The reason that reduced torque is because it gives my arm to get up and get in position to engage with my trunk and then ride my trunk energy. If I don't have that, it gets caught in between and it starts trying to do that catch up or that slingshot effect, and that starts to really put the stress on the arm. That's where the torques go up. So first one I'm going to throw is where I don't separate and I get that slingshot effect, and ultimately let's see where our torques are. Let's try to be around 55 miles an hour. Let's see what happens. I was 57. And this was 32. I guess I'm going to have to do it this way. 32. And on the arm stress, so that's the newtons. All right, and that was 614 on arm speed, and that was at 57 miles an hour. So here's the thing. Can I go 27 newtons from the 32 and keep the 57 mile an hour speed? Let's try that. See if I can get in the first one. That would be pretty good. All I'm going to do is focus on hip to shoulder separation. Let's see what happens. 60. I threw harder, so I went to 60, and my stress stayed the same. So it was interesting to see, stress stayed the same, arm speed actually went down a little bit, arm speed stayed the same. My ball speed went up 3 miles an hour. So I was able to, it's kind of the similar thing we're doing, I was able to actually throw harder with the same stress on my arm at the slower speed. But let's try to get better. Let's see if I can continue to separate better and get the stress down at the same speed. Let's try it again. 62, and that's the other thing. Separation makes you throw harder. Okay, so 62, but stress went up. I went to 35, arm speed went up. So what I'm doing is I'm using my separation to throw harder. Let's see if I can use it to stay the same speed. Let's stay around 57 to 60, and it reduced stress. Let's try another one. 57. There's my 57 and 25. So that was the best one right there. So 25, and the arm speeds went all the way down to 558, and the ball speed was at 57. And the first one where we had the ball speed at 57, the arm speeds were all the way up to 32. So I dropped 7 newtons at the same speed because of the separation of hips to shoulders. So great tool, guys, really great tool. Because think about it, if you just threw 50 throws with poor hip to shoulder separation, take that 7 newtons of more stress every throw, it adds up. That's why your arm's hanging the next day. If this can train you to separate better at the same speeds with 7 or more less newtons of torque, of stress each throw, over time, once again, how much healthier you're gonna be as a pitcher. So really great, really valuable. If you want any more of these videos, go to TopVelocity.net or follow us on our YouTube channel and subscribe. We have a lot more of this coming your way.